Hello, I'm Jordan and welcome back to the Hidden Cup. In yesterday's video, we discussed my recent realization that I need to begin cultivating more yin energy in my life instead of maintaining a near constant state of activity, of striving, of doing. This is something that does not come easily to me. I have a long list of things that I want to accomplish, both in my day and in my life, and I always feel like I'm running behind and trying to play catch-up. Especially in my spiritual and esoteric journey, given the long time I took off of the path, I feel like I need to make up for lost time, try to get back to where I was so I can begin moving forward again. And I recognize that's not how it works. There are times of learning and times of integration, times of activity, times of recovery, but I've always struggled to make time for the recovery part. Another thing I mentioned in yesterday's video was that because of this realization, I'm going to start limiting myself, at least temporarily, to just reading a single entry on the I Ching daily instead of spending an hour or two reading my deeper esoteric books that I'm trying to complete in order to internalize that knowledge. So yesterday I went home, and in the evening I did my single reading from the I Ching. And lo and behold, synchronicity is at work, and the entry was on patience, which I specifically mentioned yesterday that I need to be cultivating. I Ching hexagram number 5, patience. And as I read through the entry in Venerable Win's book on the I Ching, I came across a quote that resonated with me on a very, very deep level. Resting is not the same as procrastinating. And it just sort of stopped me in my tracks. I read it, and I reread it, and I reread it, and it really did leave an impact on me because I have this sense that I'm not allowed to rest, that I'm not allowed to take breaks, that I have too much that I need to do, that I need to get to, and anytime resting is delaying my ability to accomplish my goals. But that's not true, at least not generally speaking, because when we don't rest adequately, we are not effective. When I'm tired, I don't learn as well, I don't read as quickly, and I don't internalize the things that I'm reading either. It's more just book knowledge passing through my brain. It doesn't sink in correctly. But when I'm well rested, when I'm in a state of mind that is conducive to learning, it's so much easier to get through the material, it's a more joyful experience for me, and I have more light bulb moments where I'm connecting what I'm reading with life experiences, with other books, with lessons I've learned from the tarot, and that does not come as readily when I'm operating in a state of exhaustion. So I'm making that quote a mantra. I'm trying to remind myself very regularly that I am allowed to rest, that it is not procrastination, that it is instead a vital part of my spiritual journey. Because rest is essential for body, mind, and spirit. Your body breaks down if you're not getting adequate rest. There's all sorts of processes, both in your brain and in other parts of your biochemistry, that do not properly execute themselves when you're not sleeping enough, when you're not getting enough rest. And this affects both the body and the mind. But as we know, the spirit is connected to all of those things as well, and it is influenced by the state that the body is in. It's influenced by whether or not the mind is clear or distracted. So the things we do to take care of our body, to heal our mind, are also essential for our spiritual path. So what does this mean for me going forward? Well, I'm really, really, really going to try to take more naps. This is something that I rarely give myself permission to do, but most days I do come home from work a little bit tired. And I think if I let myself lay down for even just 15, 20, 30 minutes, decompress, let my mind run a bit of a defragmentation process, I will be more prepared to engage with the rest of my evening in a way that is productive, effective, and beneficial for me personally. It also puts me in a better mood so I can more engage with my family and continue connecting on the level that I really do enjoy connecting it on. There are other aspects as well. Hiking is something that I used to do so much more, and now it's something that I'm lucky if I make it out on a trail once a month for anything other than, just a brief 5 or 10 minute stroll. It has been probably a year since I spent an hour just wandering around in the woods, listening to nature, seeing everything, just taking in the beauty of the world around me. And that's something that's essential for me spiritually as a human being. In order to be the sort of person I want to be, is I have to allow that time to connect with nature. But when I fill up every waking moment with housework, with family time, with books, with tarot readings, it squeezes out that essential time where I actually clear my head and process the things that I'm learning. So in addition to trying to take more naps, I am resolving to spend at least an hour or two once a week out in the woods, out in nature, just taking it all in. Not with any specific goal other than to be, to enter that state of calm abiding, to connect with the world around me, to feel like a human being instead of, an American citizen, an employee, a husband, etc. Actually allow myself to be my primal self. And those moments when I do allow myself to take them are just incredibly profound, because when I actually physically remove myself from the distractions of life, those distractions leave my mind as well. If I don't have my phone with me, if I am not in a place where I can watch television or pick up a book, and also, for whatever reason, being surrounded by nature makes it easier for me to not think about all of the trappings of civilization, jobs, politics, war, all of the social dynamics that go on. You leave all of that behind. And when you're out in nature, you just feel like a human organism that is part of the web of life. And if you are nourished, if you have food, if you have water, if you have rested, all of your needs have been met for that moment. And you are free. You are alive. And the world just opens up before you. And these are moments that are just incredibly profound and glorious for me. I never manage to clear my head unless I'm actually out in nature. And I know that I can get to where I can cultivate those states in my daily life, but it's easier when I'm in nature. And now that I mention that, I'm going to share a quote that popped into my head yesterday when I was reflecting on my recent tarot and I Ching readings and my revelations about needing more patience and to become a more receptive person. There's a quote about, if you can't take Muhammad to the mountain, bring the mountain to Muhammad. And what this means is that it's easy to achieve states of spiritual enlightenment when we are on the mountaintop, when you're in a situation that is dedicated solely towards cultivating inner clarity, setting aside yourself and your distractions so that you can hear the voice of the universe, the voice of God. That is something that is much easier to do if you physically remove yourself from everything else and put yourself in a place where those things happen. But most of us do not have the option of doing that as often as we would like to or as often as we need to. And what you need to do in those situations is bring the mountain to Muhammad. And what that means is cultivating that state of inner peace within yourself. Finding ways to let go of your distractions, to not strive, to set aside your goals and everything that you feel like you need to become, and instead focus on what you are. To let your inner self open up and interface with your higher self, and to just listen to that interplay instead of interjecting all of your conscious distractions. And this is something that does not come easily to me at all. It's that yin state that I was talking about yesterday and that I referred to earlier. I'm very much a striver, I'm very much a doer, and pretty much every waking moment I'm mentally putting up barriers within myself that prevents me from slipping into that state of peace, tranquility, and receptiveness. But it's something that I know that I can do. It's something that I was able to cultivate through meditation when I was in college and actually took the time to do the work. But it's been a long time since I've meditated properly, and that's another thing that I need to actively start cultivating again in my own life is just spending a little time meditating each day. And it's frustrating for me when I try to do that because my mind is overactive and I'm very prone to distractions. And since I'm out of practice with this, I can meditate for about 5 seconds before my mind wanders. But from what I've read, that's okay, especially in the beginning. And allowing yourself to get hung up on the fact that I'm not where I want to be yet, that the distractions still come easily, that is itself another distraction. So I'm going to start meditating again, and I'm going to focus on allowing it to be what it is. Clear my mind for as long as I can, and then as thoughts return, accept them and then let them flow out, and then clear my mind again. Repeat the process as often as necessary for as long as I can manage in a given session. And then the next day, try to do a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes. I do have, I've mentioned before, my Papasan chair, which I love to read in. It's also perfect for sitting in the lotus position, so I'm going to use that as my meditation spot, see what kind of results I get, and I'll keep you updated on my progress. So looking ahead, getting some rest, spending more time in nature, and spending time in meditation. These are 3 steps that I plan on taking to try to cultivate more yin energy in my own life, to become a more receptive person to the messages of the universe, and to be able to engage with my tarot deck and with the I Ching, with my intuition more readily engaged, so that I can see the full ranges of the messages that they're trying to communicate to me. And I'll keep you updated on my progress on this journey. If you have any suggestions for me about cultivating that state of receptivity, tips on easing back into meditation, I would welcome them in the comments because I need all the help that I can get in these areas. Thank you for watching, and I'll post more again soon.